Hi there, it's Rob with the Grumpy Old Gamers here, and I'm just doing a special reaction video. Today was Intellivision's Amico special event, and it had already been delayed a day because they had some big news that was coming up. As a whole, I did watch it. I've got some notes here I just wanted to share with you guys there. As a whole, it was a good event. Anyone expecting this to be a PS5 or Xbox One or Xbox Series X competitor needs to realize that that's not where the system's coming from, but it was good. It was kind of an in-depth look at behind the scenes. I got to see a little gameplay. So let's just dive right into it and kind of go over from the beginning here. I'll just go up to my notes. First thing, they had a little bit of a history of the Intellivision. First system to have licensed games. First 16-bit system, and that was really nice. Then they had a moment where Tommy Tallarico came up to the front and of the camera there and basically said, said how important it was for him to get this released for October 10th because it was a special day for him. It was a day his sister had passed away, his younger sister, but due to the current world situation with the pandemic, it was just going to be absolutely impossible to do. So right now they're looking at April 3rd of next year for the pre-release, the Founders, and then about the 15th after, with some allowances that could change. And honestly, kind of saw that coming. It's unfortunate. You can definitely see his reaction that this was a last-ditch thing he didn't want to do. But it is what it is, The good thing is they've got a deposit, but they don't have the full price. And take the time to get it done right. So then they got into some of the gameplay. And some of the games and kind of behind the scenes with some developers. And, I'll get into some of the games here. Like Astro Smash, they showed that again a little bit more. And honestly looks really cool. It's got more of a bullety hell aspect to it at times, which, the original one did too, I guess. But, it looked pretty hectic, looked exciting. I was a big fan of Astro Smash back in the day, and still looking forward to it. They showed a new armor battle, which was actually pretty cool. Again, updated graphics, kind of it is what it is, Could you do it on an Android phone right now? Yeah, you could. And a good thing to remember with these games is that they're not asking the moon for them. They're not $60 games. They're going to be little bits of co-op gaming goodness for $10 or less. And for $10 or less, no ads. I think there's a market for it, and it looks good for what it is. Then they announced they've got a Major League license with Major League Baseball, and that was kind of exciting because that was I think that was the first licensed game they had back in the day, and it was cool to see them doing a partnership with that again. They didn't show any gameplay, but what they did show was, I guess they've got a license with the American Cornhole League, and insert your own joke there. That's I didn't know it was a real sport, but it is basically beanbags throwing at a it's like horseshoe with beanbags and a big board. It looks good enough. It's an included game, so good for them. Then they announced a few more licenses, a few more agreements. They announced that they're gonna have some licensed Sesame Street games, and that was very exciting. It's they didn't show any gameplay or anything, but it is a license with a certified brand and kind of showing how the system is aiming themselves at the every rated for everyone, E for everyone market, and that's an important market. And I think this is something that we're going to need to remember with this system is they're not going to release Crisis. It probably wouldn't play on here, and it's not something they're aimed at. And you've got the PS5s, and you've got the Xboxes, and now you have the Nintendos that all do these kind of games, and those are still there. But for kind of the family experience, the family style games, this is what this system's aimed for, and it's It's going to be the kind of games you can play with your family, with your grandmother. Kind of in a way that the way the Wii came out in the beginning, right? It was when the Wii came out, the whole family kind of got together and played co-op and things like that. And this is kind of the market it's aimed for. So that's a good place to be, I think. So then they had a big announcement. I don't know if this was they never said what the huge announcement was that delayed a game, but I'm thinking this might be it. They've announced that Mattel, and for those who aren't quite old enough to remember or just don't remember, Mattel was the makers of the Intellivision back in the late 70s, early 80s. And it was pretty cool to see they're having a partnership with them, and they're making a licensed Hot Wheels game. And they didn't show any gameplay of that either, but it is very exciting that, that Mattel's involved again. And it just kind of shows the love and appreciation of what they're trying to do here. After that, Intellivision Spades, which is a card game, so they showed off some cool things with the controllers that you've got. And if you look at the screen here, just do the controllers there, yeah. So you can see they're like little iPods. They've got a touch screen. You can see the cards on there. There's some very cool features of it. Again, Spades, a couple bucks, sure. There'll be a market for it, and good for them. What else we got here? From the people who made Bit Trip, the Bit Trip series. That was kind of exciting to see they were out there, and they're making the new what was it again? My notes are all over the place here. Breakout, the new Breakout. There you go. I kept thinking Arkanoid, but yeah, the new Breakout game. Looks very cool. Again, one thing I did notice throughout all this is that the music is right on point. Really good sound in the games, which is not surprising. That's kind of Tommy Tallarico's jam, is to have good music in it, right? Being a musician himself. Looked pretty cool. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed Breakout back in the day, and having a new version of it, pretty cool. Then they had a big segment that went on. It might have gone a bit long. I did appreciate it, but it was they showed a lot of the worldwide developers from all over the world, and they were interviewing them and talking about the love they have for the system, for what they're trying to do. And it was cool to see. Like, a lot of people are worried that the support for this is not strong. And to kind of show how there's a community of game developers and publishers who are very excited to make for this, it was pretty nice to see. See a genuine love for a console that is doing things that other systems aren't interested in anymore. And that was cool to see. They then showed the new missile command. I put middle command, but that's going to be my autocorrect there. It's not the same one that they had on the phones and the Switch recently, which was a decent game. Ryan really enjoyed that game. But it's a multiplayer missile command with revamped graphics, and looked pretty cool. It looked pretty good for what it is, right? What else? They had a platform game they announced, Finnegan Fox. That was the first 2D platformer they showed. And by showed, there was a lot of screen captures, a lot of concept art. Looks cute. Some of these are going to be at a very early stage, and I get it, but I'll have to see on that one. It looked okay. They then went into this big segment with a new Evel Knievel game. And yeah, there was a lot of hype for this one. They really pumped up. They interviewed Evel Knievel's oldest son. It kind of looked like a Flash game. Even collecting coins, which I don't get as a mechanic for a game you've paid money for. That's been my complaint with games like that on the Switch as well, where when you're collecting coins to get new outfits and things like that, that's something you do in a freemium game. It's not really a mechanic in a paid game. But you know what? It looked alright. Again, game's going to be cheap, so grain of salt, right? Then they talked about some of the places you can get these systems. You can pre-order now at GameStop and Walmart in the States. And they actually talked about Canada, which is kind of nice. They talked about it's going to be at Best Buy, EB Games. He called it Electronics Boutique. I had to kind of think about that for a second. But EB Games and Walmart in Canada, as well as Amazon. They're not up for sale yet. I did just check. But they're going to have those agreements out right now. If you want to know kind of a price, this is GameStop in the States. You're looking at about $250 for the white or black American, and $299 for the limited edition one, which is, you know, purple. So, again, anyone comparing this to the PS5 or the Xbox is going to be half the price. Right? This is not, they're not going after that same market, and they talked very specifically about not going after that same market. So, I, for one, you know, it's the price is okay. You know, it's going to have, they announced some of the specs later on and things, and storage, and, you know, for what it is, it's not bad. It's not bad. But I'm digressing here. Let's carry on. They announced a new Bomb Squad, which was actually kind of cool, by the makers of Heavy Burger, which was a really cool little indie game that had you kind of going across. It was like Nidhogg, where you have players on each side, and you're trying to get the bag of money from one side or the other, and you're going through 7 or 8 arcade games, and it's actually a really cool game. But the new Bomb Squad looks a lot like Keep Talking. What was that game? Keep Talking and No One Explodes, or it's a multiplayer bomb defusing, and it's going to use all the different aspects. The rotation, I think we got this up here. Yeah, the touchscreen, the motion control, the gyroscope. It's going to take all of that into effect. It looked really cool. It was a nice little promo. Guy was out in space. Looked great. Really excited about that one. New Space Strike, which looked a lot. I'm going to find something that's not moving there, so it's not distracting. Looked like a new Asteroids kind of meets Rocket League, like multiplayer in a static space, but they have rocks and things, and you can tether off each other, and you're trying to get into the target. Looked pretty cool. Nitro Derby, I've got, kind of looks like Super Sprint / RC Pro-Am, and that's the best way to describe it. It was kind of an over-the-top with a dynamic camera. Super Sprint multiplayer kind of game, but it had kind of an RC Pro-Am look to it too. Looked pretty cool. I was excited about that. The next one I have on here is a fantastic looking shoot 'em up, which to me kind of showed more what the system could do graphic wise. A lot of these other games were they were like polished Android games. This one looked really sweet. It was called Rigid Force Redux, and it looked like R-Type. It looked very solid. The gameplay looked fantastic. I wanted more of this in the Direct to kind of show, hey, you know what? We're going to have some games that are not just rehashes of older games. You know, there's going to be some new stuff too, and it looked very cool. So I'm very excited about that one. And then they showed it. There were a couple little snippets here for like the new Moon Patrol and Night Stalker and all that things we've seen before. If you're excited about Moon Patrol, there's actually, if you download the app, the Amico Club on either Android or Apple, they've got you can do the first level of the new Moon Patrol. Looks pretty good. I mean, controlling it on your phone is kind of garbage, like phone controls always are, but the gameplay looked pretty solid. The graphics are pretty sharp, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. So then I've got, yeah, they had a moment there where they had a TV set up with the Amico. They showed some parts, and Tommy Tallarico made some jokes about, hey, this is insert part. What does this do? I have no idea, but it's important because it's on the table, and I really appreciate that kind of humor from me. He's like that uncle that everyone wishes they had. He's just a friendly, outgoing, sincere kind of guy, and that's why I'm willing to give him a little tether on everything, right? Like he and his crew are very genuine about this and wanting to make this a good product, and they've been upfront with all the updates and all the concerns and everything that's come up, and you really want to see them succeed. And they had at times there was 3,500 people watching this, which, I mean, for a niche type system is fantastic. So it was nice to see him out there, and they showed the system running on a TV, which was another thing a lot of people were concerned about. Prove to us this is a real system. And they did. They had it running. He played some slalom skiing there. Ran good, didn't have any problems with it. They only showed a little snippet, but it was nice to see, and he played it as a lefty, which was kind of nice because he had the control stick on the right. It is ambidextrous, so it's nice to see it working. And the UI looked okay. Again, not a finished product, but it was nice to see that. Then they talked a little bit more about Moon Patrol, like I said. Then they showed what everyone was kind of waiting for, a little bit of Earthworm Jim. And they showed about a 15-second snippet. If you're watching the YouTube video, and I'll have a link to the video down below. It looked... They only showed about 15 seconds of gameplay, but it was actual... Well, maybe not gameplay, but in-engine type animation, and the screen where Earthworm Jim kind of crashes and then walks around, says a couple smart things, and moves out, and it looked really good. You know, it was enough to, even if they're not at a certain stage, it was enough to really say, hey, we're making this, and we want to get you excited. It looked really, it got me excited. Like that is the game that I'm seriously most excited about on this system, so nice to see them working on it. Then they talked a little bit more. He took kind of a Q&A at the end, Tommy Tallarico did. And he said they are in talks with Disney for Drawn Deadly Discs. Things were a little loud around my house at that point because, you know, I'm home with kids. But, yeah, they're talking with Disney. They want to get the rights. That's something that everyone's very excited about, so hopefully that works out. They talked a little bit about the system, that the... it's going to have 32 gigs of internal storage right now. They're doubling it from 16, which is good because, yeah, they 32 is even a little bit light, but at least it's something. But they did announce there's a micro SD slot in the back. And that's good because that is the cheapest way to get some upgrade on here. You can get a fairly high speed. It takes up to 1 terabyte, they were saying, so good for that. And then they showed off the controller a little bit in his hands. Looked pretty cool. Got some heft to it. And yeah, that's about it. They had one more thing at the end, and they were offering a giveaway of the controller that they were showing in the video that lit on fire and exploded. I don't know if that was a real thing or not. I don't know if they had an email address that didn't look legit, but yeah, that was the whole thing. It was about 1 hour and 20. It's a long time. It was but they spent a lot of time not just showing games. They showed the developers, and they wanted to kind of put it out that these are the people who are involved in this company. These are the people who care, who want to work with us, people who believe this is a real product and are inspired by it. And I appreciated it. It wasn't for everyone. A lot of the chat was, you know, those games look like phone games. Those games, you know, show us this, show us that. This is going to get killed by PS5. And again, yeah, it will. It's not going to beat the PlayStation 5, but they're not trying. They're not. That's not who this is aimed for. This is aimed, and if you're from a generation like mine, or close to, you remember that. You'd buy the Intellivision, and honestly, it's in the back. It's in the back right there. I mean, it's a special system in my heart. It's for when you wanted to play games with your family. You'd play them for 15, 20 minutes. You'd all have a good time trying to get a high score, and then you move on with your life. It's not going to have Call of Duty. It's not going to have God of War. It's not trying to be that. And I think there's a spot for this. There's a niche for this right now. If you want to get the PS5, you want to get the Xbox, they're out there. Go get them. You know, that's not who this is aimed for. This is aimed at families, and this is aimed at that price where, yes, $250 American. It's not as cheap as I'm trying to think of something here, like a cheap tablet or something like that. But it's not, considering you're getting the 2 controllers, you're getting with the wireless charging, everything you're getting, it's still a really good value. Like, there's a market for this, and I'm gonna be upfront. I'm not sponsored. We're not sponsored by anyone here, but we're not sponsored by Intellivision for this. This is my own opinion. I have my own Founders Edition coming. I am really excited for this. It's something that I think there's a video gaming market for, and I'm personally excited. April's a long time. I want them to get this right. I want this to not be another Atari VCS, although that may do well. I'm not going to say it's not, but they've been very upfront the whole time with everything here. And you know what? After the end of this, it's nice to see kind of the community around this. It was nice to see the genuine authenticness of Tommy Tallarico here. And I'm still, for one, looking for it. So, like I said, there's going to be a link to the YouTube video in the bottom here in the comments. And yeah, I just wanted to get that out there, kind of fill in what happened. And yeah, if you have any questions or any comments about this, am I the only one who's excited about this? Let me know. Let us know what you think of this. Let us know what any memories you have of the Intellivision. A lot of people had them. It was a pretty special time in video games, honestly. And yeah, does this get you excited? I'm still excited. I'm looking forward to April. And thanks again for watching. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.